have a live image of the destruction of the Key Bridge. We know that cleanup efforts are starting today. We know that cranes are being moved into position. We have a different angle, this one a little bit closer still. And and you can see the people walking. Gives you an idea of the scope, how big this cleanup process is going to be. This is a massive undertaking for these workers. So I am Austin Westfall. I'll be with you hosting for the next few hours here. We do want to continue our coverage of the Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore. Take a look. This is a live image. The sun is setting right now, but I do want to give you a closer look. Look for scale. If you can make out some of the workers working in neon orange and neon green, they're very tiny compared to the massive destruction encompassing, surrounding around these people. It's quite the process, it's going to take quite some time. That's what officials say. This is some of the cranes. We're just seeing today for the first time the cranes that are being brought in to actually work on removing this debris from the ocean. Of course, 4 people still yet to be recovered from this disaster site. There will likely be a push for Congress to pay for part or all of a new Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. Senior congressional correspondent Chad Pergram brings us this story.
There's an immediate demand to rebuild the bridge. The city of Baltimore, the East Coast, and the American economy demand it.
So this is not just going to impact Maryland. This is impacting the farmer in Kentucky. It's impacting the auto dealer in Michigan.
The president promises help.
It's my intention that the federal government will pay for the entire cost of reconstructing that bridge, and I expect the Congress to support my effort.
But no one knows how long this will take.
It's a heavy lift. It's going to take some time.
That bridge took 5 years to build. We don't yet have an estimate on how long it'll take to rebuild.
In 2007, the I-35 West Bridge in Minneapolis plunged into the Mississippi River, killing 13 people and injuring 145. Congress responded at breakneck speed.
H.R. 3311, a bill to authorize additional funds for emergency repairs and reconstruction of the interstate I-35 bridge located in Minneapolis, Minnesota, that collapsed on August 1st, 2007.
The House voted 421 to nothing just days after the collapse, greenlighting $250 million for a new bridge. The Senate okayed the bill unanimously.
I think everyone in this chamber and the country and the world is aware of the tragedy that befell our state.
The new bridge opened an astonishing 13 months after the collapse. Today, lawmakers hope they can replicate that speed to reconstruct the Baltimore Bridge. GOP Maryland Representative Andy Harris cited Minnesota, demanding the government sideline environmental and regulatory burdens to accelerate this rebuild. But we're in a different political climate today than 2007. Money for the bridge would be an extra appropriation. Congress struggled just to avoid a government shutdown. That means money for a new bridge could be a political fight. On Capitol Hill, Chad Pergram, Fox News.
Chad, thank you for that report. Meanwhile, we're getting a new tweet in from the National Transportation Safety Board saying that the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse investigation, the displacement or weight of the container ship Dali at the time of departure was 112,000 metric tons. That's about 248 million pounds. It's tough to put into perspective just how big this undertaking will be for these. And again, I'm going to pull up this image. I'm going to remove the graphic from the bottom of your screen because I just want to point out, for scale purposes, you can see the workers and how small they are walking on the ground. It's almost tough to make them out in those neon green shirts that they're wearing. So we're talking about a massive bridge, obviously, a massive cargo ship, and a massive cleanup process. This image is live. We're watching this as they work. They have been working much of the afternoon. We've been watching as materials. These cranes have been brought to the disaster zone where we understand they will be working for quite some time. Obviously, time will tell exactly how long it takes to clean up this debris. Teams of engineers are starting the removal process today by cutting a section of the steel bridge. From there, they'll attach straps to lift the section onto a barge in order to be floated away. Here's what we know about their resources today. There are 7 floating cranes, including one capable of lifting 1,000 tons. There are also 10 tugboats. There's 9 barges, 8 salvage vessels, and 5 Coast Guard boats. The governor of Maryland, Wes Moore, says this first step is incredibly complicated and will set the tone for how the rest of the process goes. Now, looking ahead, the first goal is to get the smaller ship channel open. So, what does that mean? Tugboats, smaller vessels will be allowed to move more freely in this area. That's at least the immediate goal here. They also need to stabilize the site so that divers can continue recovery efforts for the 4 workers that are still missing, presumed to be dead. 2 bodies of construction workers have been recovered. They were recovered shortly after the collapse. The crew of the cargo ship involved are still on board and making sure that the boat is running and those people are being interviewed as well by investigators, including the National Transportation Safety Board. The crew is safe, and there's no indication of environmental concerns from the ship at this time, according to officials. President Joe Biden has approved $60 million in immediate aid and promised the federal government would fully pay for the cost of rebuilding. The bridge came tumbling down early on Tuesday after a massive cargo freighter that had lost power plowed into the structure in Baltimore Harbor. As we mentioned, 2 bodies have been recovered, 4 others are still missing. Maryland Governor Wes Moore had requested that $60 million earlier on Friday, and within hours, the U.S. Department of Transportation's Federal Highway Administration approved the request to fund emergency work. We hear from the governor saying, "We will clear the wreckage, we will move the dolly, and we will rebuild the Francis Scott Key Bridge." And you can bet on that because we are Maryland tough and Baltimore strong.